what was the latest on the yesterday? Because it seemed like the Eagles were involved for another safety. They didn't get him, right? Justin Reid went to the Saints.
So this is interesting. So according to James Palmer, longtime NFL reporter, obviously Justin Reid, one of the top safeties, if not the top safety on the market, he signed with the New Orleans Saints. But the interesting thing is here, the Eagles were one of 3 teams that were, according to Palmer, down to the wire with Reid. And the reason this is interesting is because Justin Reid got $22 million guaranteed in a contract worth over $30 million. So now, obviously, I would assume the Eagles did not meet that if he did not sign here. But let's say they offered $18 million guaranteed, or $25 million in the contract. Like, that is a somewhat substantial contract. So 2 things: 1, they clearly have money to spend, and 2, if they were trying to sign Justin Reid, to James' point about actions being louder than words, like, I don't buy the Sidney Brown thing. I think they're willing to give him a shot in training camp. They didn't play him last year. They tried to sign Justin Reid. I think they clearly are looking for somebody.
I do think, to your point, the fact that Tristan McCullum was the backup safety over Sidney Brown says something. Now, who knows, a full off season with Vic where he's healthy because Sidney Brown was injured and all that stuff. Yep. Maybe Vic is like, I can hone this block of clay into something, and I believe Vic Fangio if he says he can do that. But to Elliot's point, I don't think it's just like Sidney Brown's the guy. Like, I do think it's a little more complicated than that.
Well, it does feel like that. And a couple years ago, Sidney looked like he was going to be a player, and then the injury happened.
And he flies around. He does, to the point of where people keep saying, and I agree with it, CJGJ brings something energy-wise, throwing his body around, like willing to just throw himself into things. I do think Sidney can bring that.
Yep.
At least that aspect of it.
The one thing that we don't know, and we won't know until we see what they do in training camp or they see what they do in free agency and the draft, is how much they believe in the next wave of young players. They may believe in them way more than we think, or they might not, right? If they sign a safety, then they don't, it depends on what they do the next couple days and weeks in free agency.